Hello and welcome to the What Is series. Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis, the quote-unquote latest title in Japan's largest online RPG series, where you can create your own unique hero with the ultimate character creation, customizations, and take them on endless adventures. So what is Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis then? Well, also known as PSO2, NGS, or just New Genesis, it comes down bottled to an MMORPG that is owned by Sega, available on Steam, Epic, Windows, PlayStation, and Xbox, all for free. Starting with character creation, since it's probably going to be the first thing you do after installing the game, you'll find yourself at a menu where you kind of get to adjust certain parameters from your head, your body, fashion, and even things like your motion, which can boil down to simple running, dashing, swimming, gliding, and even how your character lands after jumping. The freedom of the character customization is genuinely insane in this game, and it's probably one of the reasons most people stick with the game. Nonetheless, how the combat and everything else feels, but we'll get to that at some other point. Now, in regards to fashion, that's a whole different story. You can have what they call layering wear, where you can adjust simple outfits from having your shirt to your pants to your jacket to your shoes, in the sense where you can also adjust those parameters a little bit with certain outfits that they might have added later in the game. You want to be a mech? Sure, go ahead. You want to be an elf girl from some weird isekai fantasy? Sure, I guess you could if you really wanted to. You want to be a basic bit? We're not going to go there. But you can be anything that you want to be. Now, once you're done creating your character, you'll be thrown right into the story. A story taking place on the planet Halpha 1,000 years after the adventures of the Oracle. Now, this might not mean much to you if you haven't played the original Phantasy Star, but that being said, it's still a decent story. Both the quality and the flow of the story are honestly relatively well done. Though, to be honest, it's probably not imperative for you to follow if you're one of those players that prefer to grind and just go for it. You can just avoid it, but I do recommend enjoying a little bit of it to see your beautiful, well-made character in cutscenes. And within the cutscenes, you actually get to enjoy relatively well-done voice acting, something most MMOs don't even offer to this day. Now you might be saying, Gio, I didn't come here to know about the story. Sure, you're an MMO player, I get it. So, then I might as well jump into the combat that you're going to be thrown into relatively right after the intro story part. The combat itself is extremely, I don't even know how to put it. It's so satisfying. Something that a lot of games I can't find give me this sense of action and pace. Compared to the old Phantasy Star Online 2, the combat has a little bit of a different flow if you're, used to that past where you were timed attacking, you were clicking to a beat. Now you don't really exactly have to worry about that, but that doesn't change the fact that the combat's fun, its flow is 10 times better. In fact, it might even have removed a bit of the jank that the original Phantasy Star Online 2 had before New Genesis. Well, even if the combat is less jank, there's still the matter of picking your class. Is there the right fit for you? Who knows? But there are 9 classes, which is soon to be 10. The Hunter, Fighter, Ranger, Gunner, Force, Tector, Braver, Bouncer, Waker, and soon to be the Slayer. Each class can be, easily selected as a main class, followed by a subclass that allows you to equip their specific weapons. From, the standard greatsword to twin machine guns, katanas, bows, jet boots, wands, there's so much that is available for a player to just kind of play around with and enjoy. And if that wasn't even good enough, you can also have weapon camos to disguise your weapons into something completely different. For me, my twin machine guns are now twin pistols from some anime. And before we switch topics, the newest class, known as Slayer, well, it's a gunblade. All you Final Fantasy VIII fans, rejoice. Alright, well, we got combat, we got character customization. That doesn't make up an entire game formula. well, you need a world to have your character live in, I guess. Especially in an MMO where character customization is so in-depth. The world itself, you find a beautiful, beautiful landscape divided by zones that are seamless. Regions that allow players to just go from one section to another depending on whether you want to be in a forest or the desert, and probably more to come very soon. Admittedly, the open world itself is a little bit scarce of life, from the lack of seeing players run around at times to fighting similar mobs in each region. Though, it is more understandable that each region kind of is like Pokemon in the sense that you have specific creatures to each section. Although within the world, there are towers that you can basically approach and change channels, also known as blocks within this game. This allows you to at least increase the life chance and expectancy within the world where you can be around more players. That being said, most of them are probably AFK in Alpha, showing off their fashion or their character and just idly chatting. The game itself having exceptional combat allows for what's known as world events to take place. These world events themselves are known as emergency quests or concerts. These events are often relatively close to each other and usually start with concerts. And these concerts are honestly one of the most magnificent things I've ever experienced in an MMO. An event where people get to gather together watching basically Hatsune Miku in a sense just vibe away on a stage with a bunch of mech robots. I can't say no to that. And honestly, whether you're in either city, it's worth watching because it gives you a buff that honestly is really amazing. A 10% increase in EXP and Meseta, and rare drop rate for 2 hours. 2 hours! Anyways, I digress. Following usually after the concerts are emergency quests. Quests that are extravagant in a sense. Big, open fights that oftentimes make you feel like a hero. The catch though to this is, it does require a certain battle power, depending on how good your gear is. Fortunately, for you and I, the grind is actually relatively easy. Each zone has a specific area of combat that allows for a world event known as PSE bursts. These PSE bursts are effectively a way to grind more efficiently, offering more EXP and even a higher drop rate for potential rare items. That being said, this is only triggered while killing enemies within the section, and it is at a random chance of whether it raises the chance of PSE burst or even lowers it. Past the world events, there's special events that allow players to gain special items for new classes, for crossovers, even for like seasonal events such as Christmas, Halloween, all that kind of jazz. The coolest part of these special events, there's even crossovers that most people don't expect from MMOs, such as, Persona 5, Nier Automata, Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, Valkyria Chronicles, ReZero. Like there's almost no end to what PSO2 has done for crossovers. And even I almost forgot that there's opportunities to do content past special events and world events known as trials. Trials are a little bit of a different breed, from combat challenges to simply like trying to get through an obstacle course as fast as possible. These are oftentimes related to getting skill points. And bloody hells, honestly, they are genuinely fun. Now that we've officially covered general gameplay, it's probably time we talk about the cash shop. Free games often have a cash shop that a lot of MMO players are scared about it being pay to win. This might or might not be the case to some people, but otherwise, there's no PvP, so there's no direct advantage. Phantasy Star's cash shop relies upon cosmetics as well as their premium setting. The cosmetics themselves are all based off of what's known as scratch tickets in the game. This is a gachapon system that gives you a percentage chance to get something that you may or may not want. Oftentimes, in my case, it's stuff that I don't want. However, it's not exactly the end of the world. A player shop mechanic allows players to sell these scratch ticket items for basically whatever price they decide and post it up for other players to buy. People that don't want to spend real money even. The problem with this though is if you want to sell your own stuff on the shop, you have to have the premium service that they offer. While the service itself is not entirely based off of the player shop, it gives you the ability to have more storage space that allows you to store more cosmetics, weapons, and even materials that you would gather around the planet. And yeah, trust me, if you're anything like me, you're probably going to need that extra space. In all honesty, the game in the end is honestly just a genuinely fun game, great time waster, and something that's worth giving a shot if you've never tried it before. And with Sega always coming out with new content, especially the player housing update, we can expect some pretty awesome stuff, especially when we see the mechanics that they offer. Their channel always updating, growing, and showing videos of upcoming costumes, upcoming mechanics, upcoming classes. It's always something to look forward to. I just hope they give us a little sneak preview of the casino soon. Anyways, my name is Jian, and this is the What is Phantasy Star Online 2. Welcome, and enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.